What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome back to the Omega Gaming Esports Twitch channel. Today we're going to be bringing you Omega Gaming Syndicate versus the Akuma Scimitars here today, or something along those lines. We've got LHG action once again for you guys, up in the UL this time as opposed to what we were yesterday with Unleashed. Omega Gaming Syndicate coming in here for their outing on stream here. And I've got Rudude, obviously myself, joined on the desk by the wonderful Ivar. How are you doing tonight?
Doing wonderful. How you doing, brother? Okay, so two things. Akuma
Shurikens, there we go.
Shurikens, and it is LHG Premier League Week 2. But we're straight into pick ban here. We see the Evelyn and Hecarim taken away from Akuma, and the Fizz and Lilia taken away from Syndicate here.
Yeah, so jungle targeted already from both sides here. Syndicate obviously with Evelyn Hecarim taken away, and similarly Akuma taking away Lilia. Looks like it's going to be a triple ban out with 3 junglers taken away now. Olaf taken away as well, and I'm not sure if with Graves
5
as
jungles.
well. The jungle pool's already been pinched a little bit then with that.
I like the Shen first pick. A lot of flexibility with that pick. Can go top, mid. Nah, not mid. Top
Mid?
jungle support. Why did I say mid? Top jungle support here.
Yeah. Triple flex opened up to you for, on blue side as well. Something that you definitely want, and something that's incredibly nice in your just in your capabilities. What that opens you up to do is so many different things. You can pick to decide to start picking around what you want to do, and pick more accordingly toward the enemies as well. You know, you get a rough matchup top lane, you just flex it to support. Get a rough jungle matchup, but rough support matchup, anything like that. You can move the Shen to the place that fits it the most, and that's really what we're looking to see with the first pick here.
We see the Camille Ash locked in by Shurikens. I wonder if that's a Camille flex. Oh, maybe they're showing the Fiora early here. Fiora Karma maybe should be locked in.
This is a big move from Syndicate if they're going to go for it this early here. The Fiora coming out for Blood in the top lane. We're looking for some style early on by all accounts, and that does confirm the Shen flex really that, you know, this is probably going to go support. Could also go jungle. I don't know which one it's going to go for, but if they lock in this Kindred, I've seen small amounts of Kindred mid lane, but I'd like to assume the Kindred goes jungle.
Yeah, so Fallen Artemis is...
Oh, the Kindred one trick.
Yeah, he's renownedly known as the Kindred player in Omega, so I don't think that's going to be piloted by anybody else but him. But they show their hands really quickly here. I do like the Lee Sin response, you know, having the flexibility to kick people out of their land for spite. But so far it's looking like late game is going towards Syndicate with these first 3 picks.
To an extent, I think obviously Ash and Camille scale pretty well. I just think that the Lee Sin is the main issue there, right? That you're thinking, and I also think that in a side lane, Camille Fiora, I don't play enough top lane at all to know which champion comes out on top of that. But I know that both Fiora and Camille are both notorious in a side lane. It's, for me, I feel like it's going to come down to skill. If the Fiora can riposte the either Hextech Ultimatum or the hook shot, exactly, get the stun off. So you get essentially the Uno reverse card, the no you with the stun hitting the Camille instead, probably turns the trade pretty much entirely back in your favor. So,
and the fact that Fiora will have that capability for the Shen ultimate to come in could really change those fights.
Yeah, you're quite right. The global presence that Syndicate have already drafted, just with that Shen, going to be opening up themselves to a lot of late game side lane shenanigans as well, even if they don't have necessarily the numbers to support a split push. Having Shen in the back pocket, always going to be favourable for a side.
Yeah. Trying to think what type of ADC Syndicate will go with here. I know Len most likely will pick the Varus. It's unorthodox, but it is his play style and his preferred third champion behind Jhin and Caitlyn. Unless they go for full dive here and he takes the Kai'Sa, which is a possibility.
Yeah, no, I know Sen is still available. I'm not sure if that's in Len's wheelhouse and whether or not they want to pick it here. But Ashe, Senna, Caitlyn still probably the 3 ADCs that we see the most priority on. But there you go, the comfort pick, the knowledge coming out here that Varus is the pickup. Gives a lot of safety. Probably one of the better AD carries to pick, presuming that the rest of your team's going diving, you don't even have to get into the back line. Just find a nice chain of corruption, and the chain will spread, cause roots across the team, and be able to help backline without necessarily having to get in there themselves.
Yeah, and the Syndra, I was about to mention, the Syndra picked up for the mid laner of Syndicate. We're going to be calling him Timo, not his IGN, just so the cast knows. He did play that last week in their first game of their series, and he pretty much 1v9'd. So the blind Syndra shows the confidence on the pick here.
Yeah, exactly. This is the danger necessarily of blind picking Syndra. Obviously, is a slightly mobile mid laner and does open himself up to some potential ganks early on. With this Lee Sin Galio combination, would be hoping for Akuma to try and make things happen in this mid lane because barring but if you look to burn Syndra's flash fairly early, that lane is definitely very exploitable. Galio's going to be able to get in there with Justice Punch and then the taunt as well. Lee Sin has a ton of damage in the early game. So probably looking for mid lane to either pick up a cleanse early or probably get some really early Mercury treads. I don't know which one I'll go for, or probably just play safe and win out that way.
Yeah, I was going to say cleanse is definitely something that both teams should be looking at.
Mm-hmm.
With the Shen taunt, Chain of Corruption, Sky of the Week, Enchanted Crystal Arrow, the taunts. I don't think you can cleanse Hextech Ultimatum, right? You have to QSS that, right?
You can't QSS it either. It's
You
not
can't?
a no. You can't. So the
Oh.
ultimatum just goes down and you're stuck in there. There's no QSS, no cleanse, no nothing. QSS doesn't counter it anymore. Or I don't think it ever did. I think. Do you remember way back when you could QSS Z ulti?
That was a good times.
I think you could probably do it back then, but Camille wasn't out then, so it didn't it didn't make a difference. They changed it from a debuff, which is what X-Tech Ultimatum I think is, to just CC abilities. So that's how
Understood.
that one
I
is.
mean, they do have the Lamb's Respite and
Yeah,
the Shen
exactly.
ult to counteract whoever she's diving on. It would just really depend on positioning, more or less.
Yeah, Akuma are really clear on what they want to do with their top side. They have Lee Sin, Camille, Galio, and Camille Galio is just such a potent combination in itself that you just press two ultis, and one of them's point and click, the other one you can't avoid because you're stuck inside the Hextech Ultimatum. So it's pretty much free setup onto whoever you want, and provided, of course, that Fallen Artemis is in the right position, he should be able to counter this engage. Because whoever he targets, if he's just in position to get the Lamb's Respite down, then whichever member of Syndicate is targeted will be able to keep themselves safe and not be in necessarily too much danger.
Yeah. I did want to point out here or touch on it. But back in the OEL days, and I don't know if a lot of people watching the stream remember those days or know Blood King from those days, but he was known for his Fiora back then. So he definitely will start skill checking this Camille towards that level 9 mark, and will be going in for these all-in kills. And if he gets the ball rolling, he will snowball out of control and take over this game. So that's definitely something to look at. And I think the confidence of being able to B2 pick that is pretty big. That's not something you pick early.
No, exactly. But blinding any top laner, it shows some level of confidence on it. And blind picking a Fiora before you've seen pretty much any of the enemy team's comp, you have to have some level of confidence on it and some level of just outright skill to be able to pull it off and to be able to have the willingness to take it out here in a competitive game, obviously. So I'm
Yeah.
interested to see. And Fiora, one of those really stylish champions, definitely going to be looking to see some stylish maneuvers coming out here. I think a topside 2 versus 2 could be very entertaining early on. We'll have to see which team, or if any team gets it going, and which team comes out ahead, though. Obviously.
Yeah, for sure. And uh, also, I want to point out that I think I lost my train of thought here, actually. Blood King, Fiora. I lost my train of thought.
That's
Oh,
okay.
the Shen. The
Yeah,
Shen. I think
that's
we
that's
touched
where I
on
was
it.
gonna go with it. Yep.
I think we touched on it a little bit in Pro Draft, where at 6, Shen can really turn any top lane 2v2 around, right? Like
Yep.
uh, Len or Twisty on this Varus can just S key at tower, and Shen will just use his ultimate to top lane if there's a 2v2 fight between top and jungles, and he'll turn it. So
That is going to be the sort of hope here for Syndicate. The thing that they'll have to remember on the other side of that is that obviously Akuma have got the ability to force dives quite heavily with this engaged comp that they've drafted for themselves. So should a 2 versus 2 happen on the top side of the map, for example, and then Golden Toad uses his ult to go up to the top side, right? The ability for Alive in the mid lane from Akuma to get priority in mid lane and just roam down for a 3 versus 1 dive onto this Varus is something that we could look to see if we look for certain cross map plays. That could be something to keep an eye on here. We talked about the Shen being able to cause it disruption and really turn 2v2s into 3v2s, but Galio's going to have that same level of presence, especially that he doesn't really have to go anywhere, moves from the mid lane, moves up maybe 600-700 units, and he's in position to use his ult to get back into that fight as well.
Yep. I think we will cut it to a quick break while we sync up. Is that correct, Did?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. We will be back with you guys shortly, about a minute or two here.
What is up, guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gents from across the world here? I'm Rudu, joined by Ivar on the Omega Gaming Esports channel, bringing you Omega Gaming Syndicate versus the Akuma Scimitars here?
Shurikens.
Shurikens, the Akali
You'll get you.
Shurikens. I'll
Yeah,
get it,
Akuma.
okay.
Yes, you'll get it at some point. They have a Scimitar's team. I think that's why you're confused. And I
I
think we
am definitely
casted them at one
confused.
point.
Yep. I've got the Scimitars logo somewhere, and I've got the Shurikens here tonight. So it's all going a bit amiss. I do apologise, but hey, me and Ivar, we're here. We're casting the games. We've got quite an exciting one, actually, looking at it, because Fallen Artemis with his hands on the Kindred, Blood King with his hands on Fiora. I'm kind of excited to see what these guys can do.
Yeah, and we saw that little 5-stack from Syndicate there, and a 5-point coming out from the side of Shurikens. Nothing too crazy in the level 1s here.
Yeah, I don't know that Shurikens really want to invade with their comp. Obviously, they have Lee Sin, but other than that, they're level 1. Probably not too great, and obviously if Syndicate decide to stack with a Shen in their team, then it's going to be incredibly easy for them to just start with an incredibly strong level 1 fight with just a 5-man taunt or something like that.
Yeah, and we see the bot side start from both junglers here. And interesting to see Camille actually wanted to get some vision to see where Fallen was starting. So she went and checked the blue buff. Wasn't able to drop a ward, but she knows Fallen started bot side. But you see that ward just dropped by a lot there.
Yeah, Galio gets the ward down as well, just in case the information wasn't relayed. And with that ward going down, it's probably going to prevent Artemis's idea with the pathing. Looks like, when you do red-blue, you're probably going for a level 3 style of gank there. And especially when we look at these lanes here, top and mid, both gankable on both sides probably here. So we are experiencing a little pause here, but either way, early on this Kindred with a level 3 ganking opportunity would be able to go mid, would be able to go top lane. That ward being down on the blue buff pretty much prevents that because they know, okay, he's gone red to blue. I expect a level 3 gank to come through.
Yeah. Yeah, so it looks like there is a little bit of lag coming out from the top laner from Omega Gaming Syndicate here. Just some backstory. His power was turned off today, or was actually cut because a construction worker cut a line by accident. So he drove about an hour to a PC cafe to play the series. I'm not too sure how the internet is at that PC cafe, so that might be affecting his ping, but nonetheless, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I respect the commitment to the team and to the cause. I think at a certain point, though, maybe calling it quits and cutting your losses would have been necessary. Obviously, going an hour out of your way is what we love to see at Omega Gaming here, to be honest.
Yeah. And we see ours coming out, so we should be loading back into the game any moment here.
Do you want to take a little pause break, just like after we log in, or load back in rather, and just get resynced and let the buffer go?
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah, so for all of you guys at home that aren't familiar with just League of Legends client spectating, especially with me being in the UK, I'm going to pause at 25. With me being in the UK, oh, there you go, that's a perfect example. That sending the live feed from Riot, wherever this is being played, to myself can cause a few latency issues, a little bit of buffers, and then that can unsync me with Ivar, who's watching it from his nice cozy home on the United States. And obviously we want to have both of ourselves being synced up, ready, and casting the exact same game for you guys. So it might seem a little bit disjointed, a little bit janky, but obviously it's all in pursuit of a better, well-rounded cast for you guys.
Yep.
And with that, I think
agree.
Are we? I'm gonna call that as enough. Short of any more pauses, we should be fine. So I'll count us in from 3, and hit unpause on the unpause for me. 3, 2, 1, unpause.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So yeah, let's go back into the game state here. Looks like both junglers are finishing their 3rd camps, going on to their 4th. Nothing too crazy just yet. Bot lane kind of just farming it out. I think a lot of pressure is going to be on this Lee Sin here to make some plays happen.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Whenever you pick Lee Sin, just in general, you want to get usage of his early game power. and things that he can get done in the early game with the obscenely strong base damages that he has at this point in the game compared to, you know, pretty much every other jungler. I like that if I'm just looking at the minimap there, though, he's trying to make the plays. Hexmist actually walked into Artemis's jungle there, tried to get something going, but obviously the Kindred did red, full cleared his top side and has now gone back down. Has actually won the 50-50 on the Krabs because he's gone to the bot side, and here we see it now, asymmetric, actually putting up a bit of a fight for it now. Has the ignite on Lulu, so could see something go down.
Smite does come out, and he does get the heal from that. Twisty's here first with Toad, so it looks like it's going to be a 4v2 in the jungle here. Farmis does pick up the assist there, first blood going to Twisty, and it looks like it's just going to be a 1-for-0 for Syndicate, and they're walking out.
Yeah, they have to get past this Ash, and with 3 people charging towards her, is going to be able to just walk on away. Nice little collapse from the bot lane of Syndicate as well as the rest of the guys. Hexmist still lurking around. This is actually pretty bad for mostly Teemo, the Syndra in the mid lane here. We're going to be calling him Teemo in case we missed it. Obviously the IGN of this particular mid laner is not something we want to be yelling around. So with him being forced out of lane as well there, not forced out of lane, but forced to rotate more or less to try and help his team, did lose a lot of gold, a lot of experience in that play, and uses the TP wisely.
We see the parry coming out for Blood King in the top lane here, winning this trade pretty convincingly.
And this should set, for me at least, this should set a precedent for Klein up on this top side that he pretty much can never trade using his E. Oh, dash in. Hexmist there.
Ooh, that was a little greedy taking that resonating strike in, because if he did get stunned under the tower there, he probably would have died.
Yeah, the scatter actually shoved him probably to safety and knew that he had the safeguard to get himself to the Galio. So wasn't feeling too scared. I think if the stun was a little bit nicer from Teemo in this mid lane. I'm going to say Syndra, just because that's confusing. I'm going to say if Syndra'd stunned just a little bit nicer, got the ball down actually, might have been able to result in a kill. But either way, when you take that Q, you know that you're dashing straight away and you're not going for lethal damage. You're just trying to chip away at this Syndra and give your mid laner a little bit more agency in the lane, because obviously Syndra based and had a second Doran's ring in the inventory.
Yeah, and me personally, I do it for style only, Sin. Just jump in and jump out instantly. You see that ward in lane there. I don't know if he's the one who placed that ward to jump to, or if that was just placed after. But he definitely knew that he was getting gonna go out right when he took that resonating strike in.
Yeah, exactly. Going for the style points over the kill points, I suppose, in this situation. Top lane though, you know, we saw one favourable trade go the way of Blood King, but the rest of the lane not so much here. As a 9-line Klein here with the sort of 15 CS lead, got 100% more, or you know, a lot more CS at this point in the game right now, which is probably to be expected, I think, at least. The Camille, especially since she's only really recalled and got a call, just wants to be farming up here and not too focused necessarily on the trades, but is doing an incredible job up on this top side early on, denying this Fiora quite well.
Yeah, she had a nice little freeze there, and Blood King decided to take it back to pick up that components for Tiamat, and denied a lot of CS.
Okay, I like it as well that he's gone for more of the laning rune on this Camille. Obviously picked up the Grasp of the Undying, so not going to have the same late game power that Conqueror would provide to him. But, you know, at the same time, he might not necessarily need it if he's able to keep the Fiora down so far that when the Conqueror would have outscaled, he's already too far ahead for it to matter.
Yeah. And I think it's getting to the point now where these globals are available, at least for Alive. Toad is still level 4. So they need to be careful both the top and bot lane for the roams that could be coming out from the Galio.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential either way, really. Like you say, the Galio has the option to move to both side lanes. Shen, when he reaches 6, can have the option. Artemis contesting for his own blue buff here. Hexmist spending a little bit of time there. Blood King finds riposte. Grand Duelist has been popped, and these vitals are getting propped very quickly. Flashed gets into the knock-up and the double collapse from the globals, and oh, Lamb's
The
Respite
Lamb's
just a
Respite
little too
just out
far.
of range, yeah. Unleashed Power does come out. Are they going to trade that kill back? Last auto does come through. Red buff picks it up for Fallen Artemis, but Artemis is going to go down to the Lee Sin here with that Resonating Strike, and I think Syndra's going to go down here. He lands the Q and takes it, and that's going to be another kill. 3-for-1 trade in favor of Akuma there.
3-for-1 on the top side. That is definitely Akuma favored in that situation. Unfortunate to see for Syndicate, but they defend their blue buff at the end of the day. That's not the main point here. Toad goes in, misses the taunt.
Arrow does come out from Ash here. Flash has to come out from the Shen. And Twisty's stepping forward, posturing as if he can make something happen. TP is being blown by the Fiora here. I don't know if Fiora's going to be able to do anything. Does have that movement speed from that TP. Does go forward with the Q. Trying to pick up a slow with the riposte. Heal does come out from Ash here, but I don't think anything's going to come from that. Blood King's getting a little bit low and needs to back up. Lulu burns that flash over the wall, and they burn the TP for nothing. Maybe the dragon?
And they get double flashes out of it. So all summoners expended bot lane. Twisty still has his flash available. And Artemis gets a fair amount of experience and gold up on the top side as well, able to clear out all of the experience that Fiora would have missed. Might actually go for a bit of an all-in here. Mountain Dread used, but the hook shot going to be able to take 9-Line Klein to safety here. And I really like the itemization coming out. The immediate executioner's calling, knowing that the Fiora has the Conqueror, has so many ways to heal within her kit, just with the Conqueror plus the Qs, and likely the Ravenous Hydra that will be built up pretty quickly, saying that your healing is just not gonna be the same from pretty much as soon as we start trading.
Yeah, I agree. The healing reduction is going to be very impactful this game. And that fight that happened top lane earlier, it was very, very close. If Blood King was able to get that last vital procced on Lee Sin, that fight goes very different.
Yeah, if he'd have got that vital procced, he would have got that kill, would have got the heals, would have started getting all of that stuff through. We can also think if Fallen Artemis was maybe 2 or 3 units further forward, closer to Blood King there, the Lamb's Respite would have saved him. So many little things, these inches that could be beginning to get converted into miles here, because this, League of Legends always is like a game of seconds, a game of fractions, and if those small things like that don't appear to be all too great, and with all the repercussions that it might have further down the line, it could prove vitally costly here.
Yeah, and the dragon is being started by Syndicate here. It is an Ocean Dragon, very valuable, and that is picked up by Syndicate. Maybe a fight's going to ensue here. Yeah, we see the
sides.
Yeah, Taunt has come out from alive. Scout of the Week is used, and Syndicate's going to try to walk this out. Chain of Corruption was used beautifully by Twisty there.
Yeah, so the 4v4 on the bot side yields no kills on either side, but the Rift Herald expended in the mid lane. Hexmist going to pop that one down, gives plates shed between him and the Galio. TP from Teemo the Syndra here toward the mid lane.
Be careful. He's going to get instantly popped. The kick comes out, the taunt has come out, and he instantly dies. Can't even pop that Lamb's Respite. Beautiful Scout of the Week coming out from Syndra here to keep Toad alive, but beautiful engage coming out from
pretty much perfect Lee Sin play right there. Hits the Q, Ward hops in so that he gets the angle so that he'll knock up Shen as well, meaning that Toad can't stand united, giving Artemis enough time to use the Lamb's Respite. Clean Lee Sin play, and then with the taunt on top of that to layer the CC on top was about as well as that 2 versus 2 could have gone for Akuma.
Looks like there might be a dive in the top lane here. Blood needs to be careful. Has that ultimate available. Dodges the Sonic Wave coming out from Lee Sin there. But I think he's going to go down. The Shine ultimate does come out. I think it's a little bit too late. Maybe that should have been used preemptively to dissuade the dive, but nonetheless, well played from the side of Akuma Shurikens here, and they're going to pick up first towers in the top lane.
Yeah, look at these solo lanes right now for either side. The point is that Shurikens are incredibly far ahead in these solo lanes right now. Not necessarily in terms of gold, but despite obviously the top lane gap being quite significant so far in this early game, and Camille level 10, Fiora level 7. Also, just look at the mid lane as well. Alive, Galio, 10 levels to his name, whilst the Syndra here sat with 8. You know, there's a large discrepancy in levels, and even though, or even with the gold lead that Akuma have got, the amount of gold that just comes innately from base stats from your levels is actually pretty huge. So, whilst the gold lead says that Syndicate are about 4k behind, they're probably even further behind just in terms of raw statistics that they've got from the levels.
Yeah, I agree. They're definitely playing well, the side of Shurikens. Maybe a little bit of engage here. Now, Portobello is used. Flash is used also to dodge out on that scatter.
Yeah, I don't know that it was entirely necessary. I think that maybe he's not got any defensive items, so might have needed to. But I think that,
Yeah,
like I say, the level discrepancy is actually so huge. I think that just the stats that he has in terms of health and MR just from himself, you know, I've actually been able to just walk that one out.
yeah, or at least you have to wait for the Shen taunt animation to go off before you flash it.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of differences that could have been made. Obviously, not having that taunt on the gut, or not having that flash.
Lee
Hexmist
Sin
waiting.
is seeking here. He's gonna go forward, and he is full damage. Lee Sin with that Umbral Glaive instantly popping, getting that solo kill on Syndra there.
Yeah, so much just upfront damage from this Lee Sin Umbral Glaive, such an incredibly strong item in the early game. Removing all of the vision, giving yourself lethality as well. Syndra at this stage of the game definitely doesn't have any armor, doesn't even have the Ludens to speak of. So that's just the amount of gold that is sitting on the Lee Sin, and has been able to transition that into not just the warrior, but into a full other lethality item. Syndra stands no chance right there. And this is what we wanted if we were looking at this from a Akuma standpoint, right? That they needed to snowball early game and use this Lee Sin into its pretty much full effectiveness, and that's exactly what Hexmist has done. He's been able to roam around, get himself 100% kill participation in this early game, got himself 2 completed items already. You know, 15 minutes into a game for a jungler. That's kind of some insane ratios, and hopefully Syndicate are able to pull this back, stall it. But it's not looking good at the minute. Hexmist is doing a wonderful job.
He's definitely doing what he needed to do and taking over the game. Like I think anytime you play Lee Sin, this is what you want from the Lee Sin, to have full impact on every single lane, and to be same level as solo laners. He just hit level 10, so he's definitely going to be relevant for a long time now.
For sure, and you know, the first time that he does end up falling is going to be giving up that bounty. Toad in the bot lane. Asymmetric just going to walk himself away. Fallen Out Ice is nearby.
Ash is a little bit out of place. Flash Taunt is available. I wonder if Toad goes for it. He does go for the Flash Taunt, instantly going on to Ash here. Ash needs to be careful. Fallen Artemis is going full aggro here. We do see the Wild Growth dudes. We're going to the top lane here. Blood King was trying to get a trade, but he does go down in the top lane. That's going to be a 1 for 0 on the top lane and a 2 for 0 in the bot lane, but it looks like
Galio or Lee Sin gank mid lane.
Yeah, Syndra also died. Fighting everywhere on the map here.
Hexmist still has ulti.
A 2 for 2 throughout the entire map.
Dragon's
Lamb's Respite also available too.
Yeah, just sitting with bated breath. He can kill this Shen, it's whether or not he gets taunted under the turret, and obviously with that, backs it up, says, yep, I've asserted the dominance, we've got the priority on the dragon now, so that'll be enough for me. Killing the Syndra in the mid lane without having to expend the Dragon's Rage really opens him up with so much potential to make a play happen bot lane that Syndicate just have to back off, have to respect it. Nice heads up play from them to get 2 kills down on the bot side, get Twisty, a little bit of an injection, get himself a little bit further ahead, hopefully, of this Ashe. But you have to take stock of the fact that these solo lanes for Syndicate are burning right now, and they need some assistance as soon as possible.
And we see a gank in the mid lane, flash used by Camille, and she's going to just go for a solo kill. Galio ult was used just for those stats, and she does pick up that solo kill. Taunt instantly onto Blood King. Beautiful riposte, keeping him alive, but Hook does land, and it looks like it's just going to be a 1 for nothing, unless they decide to go heavy here. He does decide to go in. Lee Sin goes in, gets taunted, but he does use that save card to get out. Another resonating Sonic Wave does land, but I don't think they're going to go for that. Twisty needs to be careful in the bot lane, can get dived. He does flash immediately into the arrow. Wild Growth was used, and that's going to be a kill picked up for Ashe, I believe. Yeah, Ashe picked up that kill. More fighting in the jungle here. Toad needs to be careful. Farn Automate stepping forward, auto-attacking heavily onto this Camille. The Sonic Wave does not land, but we do see the Umbral Glaive procced by the Lee Sin. Lee Sin going a little aggro, flashes forward. Beautiful play from the Lee Sin with the kick. Lambert Sprite used a little bit late, could not save Toad there. This Lee Sin is playing really well. Trade kill being picked up by Fallen Artemis there, and full pressure and pedal to the metal coming out from Akuma.
Yeah, that was a really nice Lee Sin play. He throws the Q, flashes pretty much immediately to ensure the Q connects and also that the knockup comes through again to really disrupt how quickly the CC comes through. Hexmist in the bush.
And Twisty's going to go down again. Chain of Corruption doesn't land. He sidesteps in with ward jumps to pick up that kill. And Scuttle is started here from the side of Shurikens. I think we touched on Lee Sin being so far ahead. I think the fact that Lee Sin is being able to do this at this point in the game is going to be really scary, because when he eventually begins to plateau, Camille is going to come online, and she's going to be doing exactly what Lee Sin's doing right now.
Yeah, and Camille's already been doing that to Blood King in the top lane as well. Like, he solo killed him underneath or between two turrets. This Camille is by no means behind the curve. He's definitely incredibly strong. It's just that the Lee Sin has the flexibility to go both in and out of fights, and has been doing so damn effectively. You know, really well in just terms of knowing the limits of his champion, knowing the capabilities that this Lee Sin can do. And he's not recalled in so long. We talked about this Umbral Glaive coming through probably sort of 5-10 minutes ago. Toggle the gold real quick. He's sat on 2.6k gold right now. That's pretty much another Yomu's or something like that built up. Needs another 100 or so gold. But once he picks up the two camps that he's got on the bot side, we'll either be able to pick up the full lethality or just a GA.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he goes GA here, or I don't even think you need to go Cleaver. You just go GA. There's no armor being built besides the Shen. Just go GA and keep going for those aggro plays and having that little safety net in case you do mess up, avoiding the shutdown.
Exactly, and it's just the micro steps as well that Hexmist has been putting out. We went for that play on Twisty. Sidestepping the Chain of Corruption is so important at that sort of short range. Not only does it ensure the kill for himself, but it also ensures his safety as well. Saying
See
that,
a fight in the bot lane here, but Slayer needs to be careful, and Shen ult does come out. Syndra does use the Scout of the Week. He's going low, he flashes away. Unleashed Power is available. The Q and Unleashed Power does come out, and he does pick up that kill, but it took 4 members from the side of Syndicate there.
Yeah, another little overstep there. The team not quite ready. Ash just walking around, waiting for the team to come through alive. Dashes on in, but no taunt to be found there either. No retribution so far, so a really nice pickup for Syndicate. You know, they get themselves a kill back. Pretty much about as good as you can hope for.
Should get at this top tower. There's Tiamat, Ravenous Hydra, built for Blood, so he should instantly clear that wave and be able to take this tower.
It's going to be the hope here. Gets a little bit of gold back in the pockets of all of the Syndicate members here. A couple or just 100 gold to all of them. They're all going to be pretty grateful for that. Specifically the Varus and the Syndra. Both looking to start taking over at some point during this game and be incredibly strong. And I'm really interested by this this Lee Sin item choice. The Edge of Night signals that he just wants to keep going in and wants to keep making these plays. And doesn't necessarily think that he's going to get caught out. Because the Edge of Night protects him from obviously the first spell that's going to come through, which is going to be really important versus a composition such as Syndicate's. Because their lead engage is going to come from Scatters, going to come from Chain of Corruption. If you're just able to have an Edge of Night available on yourself, you're not going to be you're going to be protected against all of those things. You're going to rely on things like piercing arrows to connect before that happens and before they're able to go through with it.
You see some engaging in the bot lane. Nice sidestep coming out from Syndra from that Sonic Wave. We did see the arrow also used by Ash, but this dragon should most likely be going over to the side of Akuma uncontested. They have full reign of the red side jungle of Syndicate.
Yeah, they pretty much have full reign of the entire jungle should they want it. And Camille splitting on the top side. Didn't have any vision down, but recognizing that 3 members are missing means that she's going to have to recall Toad. Walks in. Throws down a little love tap on the way out, but Camille really not going to be too phased by that at all. And now we're just sort of waiting. No Drake on the board, so probably going to enter like a little bit of a lull state. Obviously Herald called here. Going to attract some attention from Syndicate, but not looking like too much is going to happen. We've got probably 4.5 minutes until the next Drake spawns. Baron is available, so look for that to be the next objective. And with an Ashe, don't do the Baron tremendously quickly, especially with the Essence Reaver build now. But there's still potential for them to go for it, just with how strong they all are.
I think one thing we haven't touched on yet that's very important is the fact that Fallen Artemis only has one stack on this Kindred right now. So he needs to get some stacks going to get to that point where he can try to take over the game. He does have majority of the kills, does have a couple items built, but without those stacks enhancing his kit, it's going to be a little difficult for him to take over the game.
And do you remember when he got that stack?
Probably level 3.
The level 3 Skull Crab, yep.
Scuttle rep.
So he's spent probably 20 minutes not farming a single stack. Obviously doesn't have the opportunity to go in and counter the enemy Lee Sin's jungle just because of how far ahead the Lee Sin is. Would definitely die for that. And hasn't been able to really pick up any marks here. Obviously has 6 kill participation, but the marking criteria hasn't really been there for himself. Not focused down the Lee Sin as his markers dictated to him at all, really. Xmas playing a pretty flawless game so far.
Yeah, really taking over.
This is what we're sort of expecting though with this. Nice that Akuma were able to actually pick up the bot lane tier 2 without the Baron. Not finding so much luck necessarily in the mid lane right now. But Blood King, you know, you can see it up on this top side without the Trinity Force. He's really struggling right now in this top side.
Yeah. And even once he gets to the Trinity Force, I think he might be a little bit under-leveled in comparison to be able to do anything.
Yeah,
and
even
this
if,
top tower will fall.
Exactly. Even if the items are comparable, the levels really aren't at this point. So all of the experience that Camille has picked up in favour of herself is going to start paying a lot of dividends here. Not even having the ninja tabbies completed on the side of Blood King means that he's just so weak in the 1 versus 1 itself.
Yeah, and like we keep touching on this Lee Sin, but like Ash Lulu themselves is such a strong lane, and they're just so oppressive against team comps, right? They provide slow, stuns, health buffs, whether it's shields or wild growth. They can pretty much counter a lot of the engage that's going to be coming out from the side of Syndicate. Whether somebody's trying to get blown up by Syndra Unleashed Power, wild growth can just counter that. If it's Blood King going in, a well-timed arrow can just stop him and he instantly gets popped. So the bot lane picks are really, really good for the side of
Not necessarily even a well-timed arrow, just an any-timed polymorph that comes through. It's gonna do the work just as well. Short of a really nice riposte fighting in the mid lane.
Yeah, Syndicate needs to be careful. They're backing up under this tower. No deaths just yet, but they're going to need to heal here. Beautiful chain of corruption. Just trying to pick up a kill here. Beautiful flash actually coming out from Alive, making it over that wall. Almost going down. Nice proactive play coming out from Syndicate, trying to pick something up, but well played from Alive to stay alive.
Yeah, living up to his name quite nicely there. A couple of ultis burned from Syndicate, but nothing too dangerous necessarily. All carries still have their flashes available. And once again, talking about the fact that Galio doesn't have flash really mitigates the ease of engage on the side of Akuma here. Means that obviously you can't just flash in on the Galio, hit that big taunt, and provides a lot more safety necessarily to the Syndicate guys in the backline.
Indeed.
And we've talked about this Lee Sin quite a lot, right? That incredibly strong, has done so much stuff, but we've probably waited maybe 5 or 6 minutes right now. And the Lee Sin has just been farming up, hasn't necessarily had the same impact that they were having in the early game. But that's just the way Lee Sin plays out as a champion, that it becomes more and more difficult to make things happen on the champion. So the later this game goes, the happier that Syndicate are going to get, because they're going to have Varus being able to take over Teamfight's Kindred as well, scaling pretty well if she's able to get the marks. But at the same time, Camille scaling up, Ashe scaling up. These picks do incredibly well in the late game as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really underestimate a well-timed Lamish Respite, because it can really turn around a team fight. So there's still tools for Syndicate to come back into this game, but they need to play it really well and need to punish the mistakes that could come out from Shurikens.
Yeah, and this it feels really bad actually for this Syndra, having only completed pretty much 1 item along with tier 2 boots. Is really quite far behind in terms of gold and in terms of items Just have a look across. Has the least gold of all of the carries in the team here. You know, not just now reaching 8,000. Where you look across at some of the other carries on the Akuma side, reaching 11.5. But here's a fight in the bot lane.
Yeah, TP coming out from the Camille. They need to be careful here. Beautiful knockup onto Cinder, instantly going down, and then the Hextech ultimate use him to fall on Artemis. Lamp Strike keeps him alive. He's trying to kite back, but he most probably will go. No, he flashes to stay alive. Twisty, flash over the wall as well to stay alive. He is starting to DPS a little bit. If he can stay alive long enough, he can try to get a kill back, but it looks like Akuma is running tail, waiting for their minion wave.
Yeah, this Varus is actually pumping out a considerable amount of DPS with the completed Rage Blade as well. Hexmist looking for an engage going on, but nothing to be found, and you saw the power that this Camille has been able to generate this game, just farming pretty much freely the entire lane phase, the entire game at this point. And pretty much TP'd in and just one-shot the Syndra. I think there's a 4-level lead, 3 levels, sorry, between the Syndra and the Camille, so Syndra just melted like butter with no armor to this Camille.
Once this GA gets finished for Lee Sin, I think I hope that's a GA being built from that BF sort of. That's an IE.
It's a bloodthirster.
It's a bloodthirster.
Okay. Nah, it should be a GA. I want to see him actually pick up the GA and then pick up a stopwatch as well. Just on top of it. Like, that's something that I'll quite often do.
Really just deny the shutdown.
Because at this point, he has all of his damage. He's front-loaded on the damage in terms with 2 lethality items, and still, from Syndicate, no armor really to speak of across the carries. You know, Fallen Artemis has Merc Treads and Phantom Dancer for defensive stats. The Camille, a big threat, going to be happy with the lack of armor. Still not even any Ninja Tabbies on Blood King. All of these, pretty much, like I said, the majority of these champions are incredibly squishy to both Lee Sin and Camille. And might actually see it here.
Sonic Wave does land. Emotes are coming now. Arrow is used onto the Fiora. Beautiful Repose coming out. Chain of Corruption does not land from Twisty there. So far, a 0-for-0 team fight. But beautiful scatter actually. Wild Growth is used, but we see a beautiful taunt not landing actually. Heroic Entrance is used by Alive here. Oh, and Camille just goes straight into the back line. Picks up not a double kill. That was Lee Sin that picked up that double kill, but a clean ace coming out from the side of Shurikens.
Yeah, and you know, back and forth, that team fight went. Lamb's Respite not used by Artemis, and as soon as Camille joined the fight, just got swayed so heavily back toward Akuma. They thought that they'd caught out asymmetric. Lulu just used Wild Growth with the shield and a heal as well from the Ashe to keep herself safe, and then after that, just so much front-loaded damage coming through from the Galio on top of the Camille that really just took over that team fight, and that was what we were waiting for. The Lee Sin had a huge kick as well. Hexmist, I believe, kicking Toad through the 4 or 5 members that were stacked up there was pretty huge in terms of orchestrating how the team fight played out. 3 inhibitors down now for Syndicate. Baron on the table for Akuma. Feels like this game is pretty much written out as to how it's going to play.
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit too late for the side of Syndicate. I don't want to say they should be thinking about game 2 here, but at some point you need to cut your losses. You know, save your mental. But there's still some misplays that can come out from Shurikens. Anything is possible.
And I still want to keep drawing the attention to Twisty on this Varus, because has been putting out consistent damage pretty much entirely through this game. As we see a taunt in the jungle. Toad caught.
Toad needs to get away. Hookshot does not land. We see the Heroic Entrance coming out from Galio. Not knocking up anybody. Giving the shields. Nothing for nothing in that team fight there.
Oh, but Blood caught out in the top lane. Klein going in.
Is he going to be able to turn this maybe? Probably more fused, but he's going to go down instantly. I thought he was going to turn that. Ooh. Hexmax does go in with the Resonating Strike, and Fallen's trying to turn this around, and they're going to be able to pick something up. They're going to get the shutdown. Shutdown is go over to Twisty, 1,000 gold, but I think he's going to go down as well, and that should spell the end of the game from Mega Gaming Syndicate.
Yeah, they get the kill on the Lee Sin. No perfect KD today. But he always does game 2, and that's exactly what Syndicate need to look to here. Clean game number 1. from the Akuma Shurikens here.
Yes, you got it right. Shurikens.
Better late than never.
True, true, true. I don't know. My damage charts aren't popping up here, so I'll delegate that to you.
Okay. We turn it over. Got the graphs up, and as you'd probably expect, everybody from the Shurikens dealt more damage than pretty much everybody from Syndicate, the exception, of course, being the Lulu. In the support war, though, did fare favorably over the Shen, but all of the Shurikens here got plus 15,000 damage pretty much. The most damage from Omega was Twisty, as we'd imagined, but just short of 12,000 damage in terms of his his damage graph. So, pretty convincing win overall, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Really well played coming out from Shurikens. And this is the best of 3 series. So, what do you think Syndicate needs to do here going into game 2?
So the start of that game didn't actually look too bad, right? They got the first blood. I don't recall where, but they definitely had first blood at some point. It's just they made a couple of macro plays that ruined their side, that ruined their solo lanes. Essentially, they like TP'd down for a play, or rotated to a play, and their waves were in horrible position. So blood got froze on at level 5, level 6, right? Had to take a recall and lost a lot of experience there. Alive was able to make or rather, Syndra in the mid lane roamed to a play where Syndicate came out ahead with the first blood, but the Syndra got pushed so far behind that the Galio was able to snowball over the Syndra and make a strong advantage for the top side of the map for Akuma here. I think if Syndicate want to improve, they need to look into when they're going for plays and if they're actually able to do so, because the way the solo lane waves were manipulated that game really didn't favor well for themselves. But with
Yes.
that, yeah, we're gonna send it to a short intermission here, whilst we get you guys ready, loaded up for game number 2 here of this best of 3 in the LHG series here. So, without any further ado, we'll cut to a short intermission and we'll be right back in just a little bit here. Don't go anywhere.